Welcome to Congressman Bright's telephone town hall conference call. My name is Lewis Lau, Congressman Bright's Communications Director. I'll be serving as the host for tonight's telephone town hall. This is the 18th telephone town hall since Congressman Bright was sworn into office. In just a couple minutes, Congressman Bright's going to join us on the call. In the meantime, if you're interested in asking a question to the Congressman, press *3 on your phone and someone from our staff will help you. Again, that's *3. If we're able to get to your question, I'll say your name and you'll be asked to repeat your question to the Congressman. To get through as many questions as possible, limiting callers to one question each. If we're unable to take your call, you'll be given an opportunity to leave a message for the Congressman at the end of it. Or if you prefer, you can simply leave a comment with a member of our staff. If something happens during the call and you get disconnected, you can dial back in at any time. That number for dialing back in is 1-877-229-8493. You'll be asked for a PIN, and that number is 14067. The call normally lasts an hour, but Congressman Bright is actually going to be stepping out to go vote here in a few minutes. We're going to keep him on the call as long as possible, but you may actually be talking to him right outside the House floor. We're just going to have to play it by ear depending on when votes come up. And again, let me remind everybody, press *3 if you want to ask a question. Okay, I think we're ready for Congressman Bright. He's going to make a quick opening statement, and then we'll start taking your questions.
Okay, thank you, Lewis, and I want to thank everybody for being on our 18th telephone town hall conference that we've had from Washington, D.C. Since I've been up here over the last 18, 19 months. It's been my pleasure to keep you and all the constituents that we've had an opportunity or a privilege to speak to on these telephone town hall conferences informed. And everywhere I've traveled in my district, people have over and over again told me how much they enjoy being in their living room or wherever, their study or in the den, and they can watch TV, mute the TV, and be talking to their congressman at the same time. So, and that way you don't have to get ready and put your son to go to meetings, clothes on, and go downtown to a boardroom and talk with your congressman, or you don't even have to come up to Washington, D.C. You've got me right here on the phone. As usual, I'm sitting in my office looking with some of my staff members here, looking out in a beautiful, well, it's not quite beautiful. It's been raining out there a little bit this afternoon, but it's stopped raining now. And as Lewis said, we're going to have a little unusual situation. The thing I do up here is vote. A lot of what I do is vote. I vote for you every time. We usually schedule these town hall teleconferences well ahead because we have to make sure that you know we're calling you, and then our staff has to be here to make sure the proper things are done so that we can get you by phone. So we had no idea that we were going to have votes scheduled by the leadership at 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock up here right now at night. On this particular night, usually we are through and we've got plenty of time and we don't have to worry about that. But when they do call votes, I will have to transfer over from my land phone to my cell phone, and I want to stay on the phone with you. But if there is a complication that surfaces, just understand that we're trying to do something different with this telephone town hall conference that we haven't done in on previous occasions. But I do want to continue through, and hopefully if it goes like we plan now that we've got this situation surfaced, I will be actually voting on a couple of issues here tonight, and you will be on the phone with me as I do that, and I will let you know when that happens. But they have not called votes yet, but we look for them to call votes within the next 10 to 15 minutes, and when they do, we'll let you know. So, Lewis, if you would, let's go ahead and take our first questions.
The first question we have is from Ms. Joan Williamson in Eufaula. Ms. Williamson has a question about the health care bill. Ms. Williamson, you're on live with Congressman Bright.
Okay, thank you. Would you vote to repeal the Health Care Act should that come up?
Ms. Williamson, let me tell you what will happen, and it's very important. There's some parts of the health care bill that is helping a lot of my constituents out there, and I think most folks want that to stay. You want children with pre-existing conditions to have to have insurance. You want many of the parents who have children who go to college want their children to be able to stay on their health care bill until they're 26 years old. But there are portions of it that do need to be modified, tweaked, and repealed, and that is the mandates and the tax increases for small businesses out there. Those are two mandates that I've called from day one that needs to be corrected and repealed. Just today, I sponsored and co-sponsored and will vote on, probably as a result of this vote tonight, to repeal a burdensome financial requirement that it causes businesses to incur, and that's making them file an 1099 for every purchase over $600, and that's burdensome for small businesses. I'm sponsoring that, co-sponsoring it, and we'll vote on it before I leave here, either tonight or tomorrow, before I leave here to come back to the district. So just want to make sure that I voted against the health care bill twice, but there again, it has passed, and now what we all need to do is put forth our efforts to make it work better for our constituents out there, for our people, and make sure that we tweak it and modify it to a point that we can afford it. So that's how I feel, and and quite frankly, that's what the majority of the people are saying at this point in time. They are wanting to, many of them are wanting to wait and see if, in fact, it does help them provide better health care for themselves and their families, but they don't want to incur the expensive cost of what it could cost down the road long term. So we have, for your information, at this point in time in the call, we have over 675 people on the phone with us at this point in time. So thank you all for joining us. And Lewis will take our next question. Thank you, Ms. Williamson from Eufaula, for that question.
I just want to remind folks, if you have a question, press star 3 to ask it to Congressman Bright. Someone from our staff will talk to you, and then we'll hopefully get to it before the end of it. And if you're just joining us now, we've got new people joining every minute. You're on live with Congressman Bright for his telephone town hall conference call. Okay, the next question is from Pam Miller in Dothan. She's got a question about the Arizona immigration law. Ms. Miller, you're on live with Congressman Bright.
Hello. Thank you for taking my question.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Miller, for calling.
Thank you. It's about the Arizona law.
Yes, ma'am.
I know there's a lot of controversy about that.
There is.
I agree to some extent for that, because we really need to put some rules in place. And I was wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Let me tell you, and I think I have written your paper, the Dothan Eagle, and pretty much given my position in great detail. I do not think that we need to violate our Constitution, and if we were to enforce the laws that we have on the books, we would seriously reduce the immigration problems that we have right now. Now, the Arizona law, I agree with it. I know what the legislature over there was trying to do. They had to do something because federal government has not done enough. So they were desperate. Their constituents were asking them to do something, so they passed this law. Now, within 10 days of passing that law, they came back because there was a major issue as to whether or not that law allowed or encouraged or made legal profiling. So they came back within 10 days and modified it to clarify that it definitely did not authorize profiling. So that concern that most folks have had should be relieved. It has relieved my concern, so I totally agree with what Arizona has done at this point in time. So, and another thing, too, that I hope you will know is I'm going to have I'm going to have a town hall meeting there in Dothan Friday, and we're going to discuss, next Friday, not this coming Friday, but next Friday, we're going to discuss immigration to be one of the major issues, and I'll tell you why we're going to be discussing that, because I'm going to, a couple of days next week, I'm going out to El Paso, Texas, and take a tour of the border and learn some things that I need to know in order to be a more effective congressman up here. And we're going to be meeting with the Border Patrol and ICE during that day and a half. And I'll be fresh back from that trip next Friday when I get to Dothan, and I might be able to share even more facts than what I can tonight with you. So I look forward to that meeting next Friday there in Dothan. It'll be at City Hall. So, Ms. Miller, thank you for your telephone call. And, Lewis, let's go to the next one. It looks like we're on record tonight, Lewis, to take more calls than we normally get to.
That's right. We're moving along pretty quickly. And just to follow up on what Congressman Bright said, that town hall is 3 to 4 at the Dothan City Hall on next Friday. That's right, isn't it?
Thank you, Lewis.
Okay. And the next question we have is from Miss Ann Wright. She's in Andalusia. She has a question about Agent Orange. Miss Wright, you're on live with Congressman Bright.
Okay, I don't know what the bill number is, but it's for the Blue Water Navy guys that were exposed to Agent Orange, but since they did not set foot on Vietnam soil, they're having to prove it, even though they do have the diseases.
Right.
How do you stand on that?
Well, let me tell you, if anybody was exposed during their tour of duty to any hazardous material, including Agent Orange, I'm for them receiving their veterans benefits. So and I think that probably was more of an oversight than anything else, but I do know that there is some legislation pending, and I'm co-sponsoring one of them that I'm familiar with, H.R. 2254, and that's titled the Agent Orange Equity Act, and this legislation will expand eligibility for presumptive conditions caused by Agent Orange exposure. And Ms. Wright, I think that's what you're talking about. So if you would, just know that I am not only in support of it, I have taken action to support H.R. 2254, which will help bring those guys into line with receiving benefits as a result of being exposed to Agent Orange. And I will say this, that okay, and we had a vote yesterday, I'm being informed, that gave $13.4 billion yesterday to the Veterans Administration to handle veterans who have been exposed to Agent Orange. So I hope that answers your question, Ms. Wright. Well, thank you, Lewis. We've had a good night. We've, in fact, gotten to more than 15 questions tonight, and I hope, even though that sounds like a small number, I find that many folks have similar, if not identical, questions, and we get to answer a lot of questions, even though we only get to 15 or so actual questions on the phone. But I will hope that if you have a question or an issue, don't hesitate to call my offices. I've given you the numbers twice now to most of them. You can get a hold of us. We're in the blue pages under U.S. Congress or federal government, and you can get a hold of us that way. And if you have any needs, don't hesitate to give us a call. We are, Lewis, I will be in the district the whole month of August. We're not going to have to be up here in Washington, D.C., and thank goodness. I am tired for 1 year, and I'm ready to get back and get down with where the real people are, down in my home district. So thank y'all very much. It's been great. This is our 18th telephone town hall conference, and I'm looking forward to having many more in the years to come. Thank you very much, and everybody have a good night.
And I'll make one last plug. If you leave a message for us, leave your email, and we'll send you an e-newsletter every week. Thanks again for participating.